If you watched my story a few days ago, I went to go get tested for COVID-19, and my results just came in earlier today, and they were negative. I was pretty relieved. They send a text message alerting you that you got an email, and then you have to go into the email and enter a code they send you. So it's like really private. So I was thinking I might have got it. I might have tested positive. Just because I've been having some symptoms. I had some chest pain, sore throat, and a mild fever. So I went online. You can check out the website right there. And they just go through a bunch of questions to fill out. And the symptoms that I had was enough to qualify for going to get tested. So they send you an email with a little VR code. First I got a text message that said to check my email because the results came in. So when you go into the email, it links you to another site you have to go to after inputting a verification code that they send you as well. So it's a lot of steps, and it's pretty private. With all these steps, I actually got a little nervous. I thought I might have tested positive. So my heart was like racing at the time. So when I saw negative, it was like, and for some reason, all the places that they have set up for testing are all outside of Salt Lake City, like in Ogden, as far as like Roosevelt, Heber is the one I went to. And it was like really empty. I went early in the morning, which may be why. And Heber's kind of a smaller city. But there's no other cars. They just had like 3 or 4 people, all suited up and everything. And it was really quick. They stick a big swab all the way up into your sinus, swab it out. It feels weird. It doesn't hurt, just a little uncomfortable. Yeah, and they told me up to 72 hours, but the results came back just earlier today. Well, there was a ton of questions that I had regarding the test, the process of it, and how to get tested. If you're like me and just had minor symptoms, they recommend that you get tested. Is it possible to find out? Just because I tested negative doesn't mean I've had it and recovered from it and was asymptomatic the whole time. I don't think there's currently a way to know that at this point. They have a lot of good information in the email. So they say testing negative doesn't mean that you can't get it or that you haven't gotten it yet. That just means at the time of testing, it may have been that you have gotten it. No, what'd they say? Oh, you were very early in your infection at the time of testing. And then in there they have a link to some really good resources at coronavirus.utah.gov. So here's a lot of things I didn't know about it. So 75 to 80% of people that contract it don't show any symptoms, meaning they're asymptomatic. Currently the estimated death rate in the US is about 1%. And they're saying 50 to 70% of the US population will contract it at some point. So what's scary about it is when you get it, it's still unclear if you're going to develop an immunity to it or severe symptoms further in the future. Symptoms may appear 2 to 21 days after exposure of it. And this is why you're hearing a lot of people, coronavirus has been around for a long time. Yes, coronaviruses have been around for a long time, not this specific coronavirus. So coronavirus is part of a large family of viruses, some that cause illness in people and some that cause illness in animals. So as of now, there are several known coronaviruses that cause mild respiratory illnesses in humans, such as the common cold. The more severe ones that have been known in the past are SARS-CoV and MERS-CoV. Severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus. MERS-CoV. So based on the other coronaviruses, people are considered contagious from the day of fever to 10 days after the fever. And the typical incubation period is 2 to 14 days of exposure. That's with the past coronaviruses. That's what they have in common. With this new one, it's still unknown. I think that's it. I may go in depth with this more. I'm kind of really interested in all the research right now. Hopefully that answers a lot of questions that some of you might have had. I know that I had a ton of questions, like if I've had it and just recovered from it, would you test positive for it? I think the answer is no. And also, if you've had it and recovered from it, can you catch it again? From what the studies are showing, it's not likely, but it's still possible depending on your exposure to it. So if you haven't tested yet, and you're having a very mild symptoms, I would recommend going to get tested just for peace of mind. It's most likely that you don't have it, but it's possible that you're one of those people that's asymptomatic and has it. It's also possible that we've had it, gotten over it, and then when you go to test, you tested negative. But again, that doesn't mean that you can't get it again. Anyways, I hope that was kind of helpful. I'll post some links in there. I hope that answers some of the questions that you're wondering. I know it answered some of the questions that I had about it.